Almost 26,000 domestic burglaries in England and Wales went unattended by police last year. According to figures from the Lib Dems, in some areas, officers did not respond to 3/4 of reported break-ins. That's despite police forces introducing a new policy in March last year to attend all burglaries and the recruitment of an extra 20,000 officers since the 2019 election. The National Police Chiefs Council said an immediate response to burglaries was not always appropriate or possible due to resourcing. They said that many or all incidents could have received a response at a later time. Well, that's no good. So what do you think, Geoff? Was this a promise that should not have been made?
No, I think the public will absolutely expect this. I think that the way we react to crime is about the severity of it and also the impact on the victims. And for anybody that's been burgled, the sort of penetration of your safe space, your house, is a fundamental thing. And there's two functions. One is, on a simple level, it's reassurance from the police, you know, that there are people out there trying to catch the bad guys. But there's also a detection element. Now, I remember a very formative memory being a kid that we were burgled. And my mum was in bits. My dad, he wasn't sleeping well for a while after that. But the police actually being there, what happened was they'd stolen a marble chess set. Now, a few months later, somebody in the area reported that they'd been burgled, but the police went into his attic, spotted a marble chess set, did some other digging around, were able to connect the two things. So the guy that burgled us had been burgled and reported it, which in itself is incredibly ironic.
It is, but that is what's called good coppering.
Exactly.
That's the coppering that caught the Yorkshire Ripper right there, where the guy says, wait, that driver's just asked to relieve himself by a fence.
Connecting patterns. I mean, I've got a friend whose house was burgled. He had video footage and kept trying to send it to police, but they weren't interested. So it's not good enough.
Yeah, OK, Tessa, what do you think?
I just think, I don't like to ask a man his age, but how old are you? We're talking about approximately 50 years ago, presumably.
She's been doing this all morning. She's trying to say that I look
old.
old.
A panel member of wearing a wig, right? So you've got off lightly.
Natural hair colour, Tessa, just saying.
Right. You've got off lightly.
It's just in the last 50 years, the nature of crime has changed.
He's not 80.
No, but in the last 50 years, he's talking about his childhood. And in the West End of London, crime, mugging, has gone up threefold. I've been the victim of burglary and I've also been mugged. And I can tell you which one stayed with me for longer. It was being mugged.
Oh, being mugged.
Being mugged, being dragged along the street on my stomach.
What, a physical assault as well?
Really?
Of course.
Which he broke outside my house, pulled by my Goldilocks.
Really?
Yes, 100%. Wow. That stayed with me.
In public?
No, it was on my little street. I was trying to unlock the door. Ooh. And he came up at me, asked me the time. And I thought, why are you asking me the time without looking in my eyes? He was like looking somewhere else. So I was looking to tell him the time. And then I was dragged down the street and I had all my tutti in my bag. I had even my passport. It was a disaster. And then I couldn't get in my house. So I was sitting in a puddle crying because obviously the keys had gone too. But
I think in that situation, you
that takes
throw
precedence.
your keys away, because what they want to do is get your keys and drag you into the house, and you've got to don't unlock the door. You throw them as far as you can throw them.
I was fighting like tooth and nail. I've never fought so hard. I was trying to grab his hand.
That happened to you. It's terrible.
Yeah, this is a while ago. I was young, you bounce back. But even younger, I was a student when a burglary took place. I was aware at the time they took my super woofer and my eyeliner. But, Sarah, did I bother the police? Yeah, I think for insurance purposes I might have done. But they didn't come around.
So at that point where you were burgled, obviously the mugging, absolutely horrific. But did you have kids when you were burgled? Because I think the impact when you've got kids, the feeling that someone's in your house while your children are sleeping is a fundamental thing.
Yeah, if it's a live burglary where you're, let's say, asleep and the burglar is in the house, that is shaking.
That's what happened to us.
That happened to you?
Yeah. So no, that's what happened with my mum and my dad.
No, I see.
That's why it was so
normally you come back from holiday and
So now let's just drill into the figures here, and I know this makes for dull television. Bear with me for one moment.
That's quite a serious rider.
20% of all cases recorded don't get an investigation. So I would posit that the 20% of cases are like mine. Student left a window open, super woofer went, and the 80% of cases that the police do attend involve baby Geoffs and distressed mothers.
OK. Janine is in Birmingham. Have you been burgled, Janine?
I was years ago. But good morning, Jeremy, by the way. It's lovely to speak to you again.
And you. My
point is, the majority of burglaries today, they target the elderly because they're easy. If somebody come into my house and they was burgling me and I hit them over the head with a baseball bat or a frying pan, I'd be arrested.
No, you may be arrested, but you would be a national hero.
Yeah.
But that man that burgled my house would probably get 6 months, if that. I would be probably done for GBH, protecting my property, like that chap that shot that bloke.
Well,
have you got a gun, Jimmy?
I think the shooting that was very.
No,
he
I've
was
got a
released
baseball
actually.
bat.
That there was a case about 10 years ago of a burglary which was very violent, and then the homeowner was tied up, got free, ran down the street, and just destroyed the burglar with a baseball bat, and he was convicted. But that was because he was chasing a guy and attacked him on the ground.
I mean, Janine phrased it beautifully. She said protecting property is a fundamental need for human beings to feel safe in their dwellings.
I would keep your saucepan handy and worry about the police later. I don't think they'll prosecute
They're
you.
super clever. They do it on 2 levels. One of my favourite Bletchley Park veterans was on a bus. Bag was taken from her, so that was the first theft. Knock on the door a few days later. Hello, I'm a detective inspector and I have your bag here. May I come in? In he goes. Takes her, cleans her out for the second time. Because in the bag is her address, etc.
That infuriates me.
It's dirty.
Janine, thank you and stay safe. Tim is in Derbyshire. Hi, Tim.
Hello, Jeremy. How you doing?
All right. It's always a lot. I worry that the police will be watching, getting dispirited here, but they can't turn up to every burglary. That's the reality.
Well, I'm a victim of crime myself. I had my car stolen, and I rang 999. I didn't know what to do, and they told me to put the phone down because it's not an emergency. They told me to ring 101, and I was on there for a couple of hours. No one came out. I just got an incident number, never seen my car again, and it still affects me to this day. And that's why crime is so high. That's why they get away with it, because they don't do anything.
Well,
so they think,
my local high road, there was a gang of young people went in and basically shopping, really, but they just took everything off the shelves. They weren't even bothered about being spotted. Their faces were all on the CCTV. There was no action.
And that's the problem today.
Yeah,
the Conservatives took all the police away, and now they're saying, oh, look at us, we're giving you back, but they're giving us back what we already had.
Well, I mean, just on that note, and everyone might shoot me down and dispute it, but the official stats suggest that burglaries were higher 20 years ago. Now, people might say that things aren't being reported, but those are the official stats.
What's people burgling? That's what I don't get, because tech isn't worth anything anymore.
I tell you what, this happened to a super posh family with a Tesla. Sales might be down, but the second-hand market's cruising along. They went into the house, they burgle, they get into the house. They don't go upstairs, they don't rummage around, they go straight to that, you know, the little, in the hallway, we all have the car keys. Take the car keys off, they go with the Tesla.
OK. Tim, what sort of car were you driving?
A Fiesta.
Have you kept your eyes out for it? Do you think you might see it?
Oh, no, the police found the car, but they'd scratched all the VIN numbers off, so I couldn't have it back.
That's a new one on me. What, so if they scratch the numbers off, you're not allowed to claim it? Oh, dear,
no,
oh, dear.
Because it's against the law to have a car back where the VIN numbers have been tampered with on the engine and everything. Yeah, so me car, it was virtually new, got scrapped.
I just never know whether we should expect the police to investigate this. I'm starting to think they only really do murders.
Well, the one thing we should say, potentially in favour of the police, is that the Lib Dems, anyone who's had one of their campaign leaflets, they do a bit of creative accounting, and there is some suggestion that the way the question was phrased was a bit mischievous, and that sometimes of the people that turn up are crime scene investigators who aren't necessarily police. So the police might say that some of that 20% is covered.
We're having a hiatus of crime, and we've mentioned shoplifting, we've mentioned mugging, and burglary is lower down the pecking order at the moment. So where do you prioritise your resources?
Thank you, Tim. Later, it's the papers and everything else.